Today, we search for the original great tragedy of human civilization. We abandon the modern map and plunge into the deep blue memory of the ocean, chasing the phantom architects of the most famous lost city in history. This is the story of Atlantis. Grab your coffee. We are diving into a mystery rooted in philosophy, twisted by time, and sought after by every ambitious explorer and historian for 2,000 years. Was Atlantis real? Or is it the collective shadow of a disaster too great for the ancient world to comprehend? Unlike most myths, the story of Atlantis has a definitive starting point. The Greek philosopher Plato, who wrote about the city in two of his Socratic dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, around 360 BC. Plato claimed the story had been passed down through generations, originating from Egyptian priests who told the tale to the Greek statesman Solon. Plato's description is meticulous, almost obsessive. He writes of a colossal island empire located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the Strait of Gibraltar, thriving roughly 9,000 years before his time, making the civilization nearly 11,000 years old today. Atlantis was a dazzling naval power, technologically superior, ruled by 10 kings who descended from the sea god Poseidon. Their capital city was a marvel of engineering, concentric rings of land and water, connected by navigable canals and vast bridges. The structures were made of black, red, and white stone, covered in precious metals, including a mysterious glowing alloy called orichalcum. They possessed immense naval fleets, monumental public works, and an almost limitless hubris. Plato states that the Atlanteans, swollen with pride and greed, attempted to conquer the Mediterranean world, starting with Athens. But the virtuous Athenians repelled the invasion. Immediately following this defeat, Atlantis was hit by violent earthquakes and floods. In a single terrible day and night, the island was swallowed by the sea and vanished completely. This narrative presents the world with its first and most compelling problem. Was Plato reporting a fact or delivering a complex moral warning dressed as history? For centuries, scholars dismissed Atlantis as purely philosophical fiction, a morality tale designed to illustrate the superiority of his ideal Athenian state over a corrupt, materialistic naval empire. They believed Plato invented the city to serve as a literary foil. However, the sheer detail of the account argues against simple invention. Why include specific geological details, specific time frames, 9,000 years, and references to specific materials like orichalcum? This is where the timeline becomes critical. Plato stated the event happened 9,000 years before him. This time frame is simply impossible for an advanced Bronze Age civilization, which only began around 3000 BC. if the Atlantean date were accurate, it would predate recorded history and place the civilization among hunter-gatherers. The prevailing theory is that the Egyptian priests' number was likely translated incorrectly, confusing 900 years with 9,000. If we accept the revised date of 900 years before Plato, around 1260 BC, the story aligns perfectly with a far more plausible, yet equally catastrophic historical event. The most archaeologically and scientifically robust theory is the Thera Minoan connection. If we accept the 900-year timeline, the destruction of Atlantis aligns almost perfectly with the colossal eruption of the Thera volcano, modern Santorini, in the Mediterranean Sea around 1500 BC. Thera was an island, and its explosion was one of the largest volcanic events in human history. It vaporized the island's center and generated immense tsunamis that devastated the nearby Minoan civilization on Crete. The Minoans were a sophisticated naval power, highly advanced in their time, known for their unique architecture and maritime dominance, a description that closely mirrors Plato's Atlantis. The theory suggests that the story of the Minoan collapse, a sudden, catastrophic destruction by sea, was passed through oral tradition, exaggerated by the Egyptians, and finally mythologized by Plato into a moral epic. Here, Atlantis is not a lost continent, but the devastating, lost memory of the Minoan power center. Other researchers insist on the location beyond the Pillars of Hercules. This leads us to the Atlantic, the Eye of the Sahara, Richet structure. A startlingly precise theory suggests the Richet structure in Mauritania, a massive concentric geological dome, is the actual ruins of the capital city. Its physical structure perfectly matches Plato's description of the concentric rings of land and water. Proponents argue that a mega tsunami or climate event drained the land and that the coordinates match. Despite its inland location today, the major problem is that the structure is a natural erosion feature, not a man-made ruin. The Caribbean and the Bimini Road. This theory gained traction when a peculiar underwater stone formation, known as the Bimini Road, was discovered near the Bahamas. While often cited as evidence of Atlantean roads or harbor walls, most geologists confirm it is a naturally occurring rock formation, beach rock. However, the allure of an Atlantean structure submerged near the Bermuda Triangle remains strong in the realm of speculation. A final theory removes Atlantis from the Mediterranean altogether and places it on the shores of the Black Sea. Around 5600 BC, a catastrophic geological event known as the Black Sea Deluge occurred. At the time, the Black Sea was a freshwater lake, significantly smaller than it is today. When the rising waters of the Mediterranean finally breached the land bridge at the Bosphorus Strait, the deluge was immense, a flood 10 times greater than the flow of Niagara Falls, rapidly raising the level of the Black Sea by hundreds of feet and swallowing vast coastal civilizations in a single event. This cataclysm perfectly matches the suddenness and scale of destruction described by Plato. Entire established coastal communities were wiped out in a short period of intense flooding. It fits the memory of a devastating deluge more accurately than any other event, suggesting the survivors carried the memory of their civilization being swallowed by the waves. Whether Atlantis was a lost Minoan power, a city submerged in the Black Sea, or merely a philosophical concept, its story serves a profound purpose. It represents a universal human fear that complexity and progress can be instantly undone by natural forces or moral decay. It is the story of a civilization that became too powerful, lost its virtue, and was erased as a consequence. The search for Atlantis is not merely a treasure hunt, it is a search for human humility. The myth challenges us to remember that even our most dazzling achievements are fragile before the forces of nature or the hubris that comes with great power. The great lost city remains lost, not on the map, but somewhere in the forgotten historical memory of humankind. Tell us in the comments, do you believe Atlantis was a real physical place devastated by a flood, or Platon's perfect cautionary tale? Keep questioning everything.